Rell Vert's rise to fame has been paved with death and betrayal, from turning his back on his former gang to losing his closest friends to gun violence. As his former Trap City homies gun for Vert daily and his drug addiction spirals out of control, one question remains. How long can a junkie shooter survive when the streets want his head?
Not the junkie
This
shooter.
is the story of Rell Vert.
Now listen, one thing I will say about Rell Vert, I ain't heard Rell Vert claim no bodies. So I don't know how many drills and drilling he done did. But shorty ain't talking about it. He's smarter than his goddamn friends. FBI, open up!
Chicago's most dangerous junkie shooter. From Trap City to Bloodhound, Vert was born and raised between 67th and 79th, growing up as the youngest of 8 children. He attended Henry Ford Tanner Elementary while living off 67th, and since his mom worked at Foot Locker, he stayed fresh in the latest Jordans. Basketball was his first love, but the streets had other plans for the young kid from the South Side. In an interview with No Jumper, he described his childhood like this.
Regular kid. I ain't gonna lie, I was playing basketball, doing regular shit. I wasn't, regular kid. Same Chicago life. You probably heard the story 100 times. But students come back, just a kid, you gotta just, I don't know, trying to survive.
But were you like Jeff, where you didn't get into the streets fully until like a little bit later because you were playing ball?
I was never in the streets.
See, he ain't that day. He ain't slow. You call him a junkie, he on the camera, DJU, snorting out some Percocets. He doing all that, but he ain't that goddamn.
Yeah, I don't know in the street.
Outside.
Outside.
You weren't outside
Everybody's
either?
outside. I was outside when I was like 6 years old. Whenever I learned to start walking, Mama said I can go outside. I was outside.
Start walking.
After moving to 79th, Vert enrolled at Emil G. Hirsch High School, where his temper got him kicked out for—
Boy, that Hirsch is not a good school, boy. Hirsch is hood thug high.
Fighting. He transferred to Harlan High School only to get expelled again for the same reason. Vert describes himself as somewhat of a bully during those days since he had a crew of about 20 friends. And if he had beef with someone, so did his whole squad. The turning point came when Vert's pops got knocked for 5 years. This clearly messed with Vert's head and showed through his increasingly wild behavior. Thankfully, around 2017, he linked with a shorty who helped him chill out and navigate through these crazy times. She became his rock during a period when everything seemed to be crashing down around him. During this same period, Vert started hanging tough with J Boogie and the infamous Lil Jeff, who would later become known as the Bloodhound Brothers. Vert admits he'd been smoking loud since he was 13, but it wasn't until he turned 18 that he started getting into Xans and perks, which would have a major impact on his life moving forward, similar to Lil Jeff's own struggles with getting geeked up daily. After high school, colleges started curving Vert for basketball, which crushed his spirit and forced him to completely switch his focus.
He got expelled 2 times. So what the fuck college gonna give a scholarship to him who got— Come on, man. What we talking about, bro?
That's when he fully committed to dropping heat in the studio, and the rest became history. However, this transition period also marked the beginning of his drama with his old hood, Trap City. Trap City Rob and other members started claiming that ever since Vert began rolling with Lil Jeff and the Bloodhounds, he started acting brand new with his day ones. This tension would eventually come full circle when Lil Jeff got smoked outside of Trap City Rob's grandmother's house, and Vert would later get snatched up and booked at that same location. In his first video titled Pissed Me Off, shot by AMF Visuals, Vert ended the track by saying, "Shout out them Bloods," which was his first public way of claiming his new set. The following month, in December 2021, he dropped another visual for Gang Shit featuring the famous Bloodhound JB Bin Laden, which became his first banger that really put him on. JB Bin Laden was one of the longest standing members of Bloodhounds and had already been spitting with some of the heavy hitters in Chicago drill. This collaboration not only boosted Vert's career, but also solidified him as a publicly known bloodhound.
I want to put y'all on to some of the easiest money you'll ever make in your life. Freecash.com is a website that allows you to literally get paid hundreds of dollars just for playing video games on your phone. All you need is an email and a password. Follow the directions on each of the campaigns and you can earn at least $100. My personal favorite game to play was Sunrise Island, and when I clicked on it, they had a $370 bonus. I got $370 just for playing a video game on my phone. On average, it only takes about 17 minutes for most people to start earning money on freecash.com. So if you need some free, easy, extra money, go to freecash.com, click the QR code right here, or go in the description below and start getting that bag. You did?
Which his homies from Trap City immediately peaked and weren't feeling at all. The switch up. Early 2022 started with Vert sitting down for an interview with Truth Teller TV, where he brought Trap City Taro on camera and let the world know where he was from.
I'm from 67 Trap
So
City.
this 2023 or 2022, he said. I don't think I've ever seen this interview, but this Taro, this like, basically this like this the Bloodhound's main op. That's the crazy part. And he on here saying I'm from 67 Trap City.
79th Drill City. My name
He from 79th Drill City. So he from both places, basically where he's saying I lived in both places.
Rell Vert, man.
During this interview, the interviewer dropped some information that he had been keeping on the low until this moment. He revealed that someone from Atlantic Records had recently hit him up in the DMs, asking specifically about the hottest artist coming out of Chicago. This was big news because the interviewer made it clear he had never told anybody that, and that Taro and Rell Vert were the first person he was telling this.
It's something you'll be interested in. You know, the other week, I was surprised, a lot of people don't know this, but the other week, A&R from Atlanta Records had DM'd me, man. And I never told nobody that. You the first person I done told the world this shit and DM'd me and asked me something about some of the hottest artists in Chicago and shit like that.
Yeah, it depends on, like, I ain't gonna lie, like, what the contract looking like, though, you know? Like, that's how it depends on what that shit looking like. If that shit looking like what it is, then...
Discuss something with them, you know?
Right. But...
The interviewer was
That's crazy.
probably hinting that Vert was one of the hottest rappers in Chicago, which didn't appear to be cap considering how he was getting recognition from record labels and all that. AMF Visuals also
Hey,
rolled
how
up
old
considering
is Baby Chief do it though? Like,
how he was
cause he looked 12.
getting
bro.
recognition from record labels and
Like,
all.
gang, that little boy looked, and he looked like he 4'9". He looked 12. That's just how I look when I don't even think I looked this small when I was 12, gang. I ain't gonna lie. Like, thinking about it for real, like, I don't know if I got some pictures when I was 12.
AMF Visuals
but
also
dang.
rolled up on Vert with an offer to his videos for free as long as he kept dropping them on their channel. They even offered to manage his career, which was an extremely rare opportunity that Vert caught on to immediately. The interviewer asked Vert and Taro how they felt about rap deals. He also added that he heard some rappers talking about rap deals, but then as a person, he wouldn't be able to let that walk past if someone pulled up with serious bread, specifically mentioning a couple $100,000 or even $500,000 for a couple mixtapes. When talking about his stance on rap deals, Vert showed he was thinking like a real businessman rather than following the typical stay independent wave that most drill artists are on.
Or do you let that walk out the
A
door?
motherfucker ain't gonna know till they get there. Like, motherfucker be, I ain't gonna take that shit. But when you that shit in your face, man, your ass gonna, man.
Fold, break it in two.
Man, you gonna see them numbers, you gonna, damn. But that shit ain't gonna, like they saying, like, that shit, all shit, you gotta know how to do that shit. Cause, like, you get at no contracts and you fuck yourself and you can't get out that shit. And but some people just be buying out their shit, buying out their contracts and they hit them.
But Vert wasn't moving sloppy
Vert
with the
not
business
slow.
talk.
That's what
He
I be
stressed
hearing. What I sound like to me is Vert not slow. He just need to stay off them goddamn drugs.
that any deal would depend completely on what the contract was looking like and that rappers should be really careful of contracts they sign. He kept it real about needing fair partnerships, repeatedly bringing up 50-50 splits, and how labels and artists have to work with each other since it's a business.
What that shit look like? And we,
Okay, but this ain't what we came here for.
you know, 50-50, let's come correct.
Chicago, suggesting there might be some industry fear or show that Chicago artists could be trusted business partners who won't bring drama. Which in 2020 featuring Music Child to the Man pulled out on music and stretched. Not only hit a word on the streets was that he was out here stepping on things. When he wasn't dropping heat, word on the streets was that he was out here stepping on things. The streets started buzzing when Vert would hop on live with ops, and they would claim that he recently caught himself slipping on a drill by accident. His enemies would always flame him during these heated exchanges. While nobody knew if this was facts or cap, Vert never really denied it, which became part of the ongoing talk about his street moves. Around 2023, Vert lost his mom, which deeply
he popped himself while he was on a drill on the ops block? How the hell you do that?
with his music output. He admitted this in an interview with No Jumper, and said that his music was weak when he lost her, so he quit and let Jeff take over. This personal tragedy marked another dark period in his life. 2024 started with Vert back on his grind, dropping projects back-to-back, including FTO, which pulled over 1 million views. He was ready to prove to everyone that he was here to stay as a drill rapper. But unfortunately, 2024 was about to become the most life-changing year yet for the young stepper.
That was a bad year for the
and betrayal.
man.
June 2024 became a month that changed everything when Lil Jeff was gunned down right outside of Trap City Rob's grandmother's house. The irony wasn't lost on anyone that Jeff died in the same location where the tension between the two crews had been brewing for years. Soon after Jeff's death, Vert dropped a vlog from his recent 23rd birthday back in May, which showed the genuine bond that he and Lil Jeff shared together. Only a month later, in July 2024, the Bloodhounds lost another member when Lil Scoom was backdoored by a female. Vert was now dealing with the loss of his two closest friends after just celebrating his 23rd birthday with them. The grief was overwhelming, and he found himself sitting on the couch of DJU TV for a full, in-depth interview. During this DJU TV interview, the world really got to know Vert on a personal level. He opened up about his drug addiction, admitting to
Look at him. Boy, that nigga fucked up, man. Look at that boy.
making a girl snort a Percocet with him. He also flexed a watch, which he claimed he stole from his ops, saying he had to kill when asked where he got it from, before quickly changing his story to say his friends gave it to him.
Watches, right? These fly-ass watches y'all be having on y'all wrist. You got one on right now. Where you get that? Where you get that watch?
That nigga said, what the fuck? What are you on, bro? Let me know so I don't do it.
From Vert.
If I tell you how to kill you. If I tell you how to kill you.
That nigga is a
oh, man, I got nice friends. They love me, man. Bleed.
They love his what and shit.
The interview exposed how deep his drug problem really was. When asked about mixing drugs, he broke down how mixing Xans with perks gets you way more geeked, showing he knew all the combinations that could get you faded. This real talk about his addiction revealed how badly he'd been fiending ever since his closest homies got smoked.
You admitted that you started smoking weed around like age 13.
13.
Okay.
Smitty Swisher.
Right.
Bought my first dime. 13 years old.
He itching, look at him. Like, who wanna be like that, bro? Come on, bro. It used to be a point in time where junkies used to get laughed at and joked on. We used to make junkies dance and shit. Like, look at this junkie. You know what I'm saying? If one of our homies start doing that, we like, boy, get your weird lame ass around us, gang. You on them, all on that extra shit, you know? Like, this nigga tripping, itching and shit.
When did you start indulging in other drugs?
I ain't gonna lie, recently though, probably when I was about like 19, 20. I'm 23 now.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah, I really started I just started doing this shit. I don't even really do real like that, but I do person. I fuck with the person shit. But I just started doing this like at 20.
Okay.
Jeff and Scoom getting bodied had the internet going crazy, and soon everybody knew who the Bloodhounds were. Vert was ready to turn up off this buzz, dropping a total of 18 visuals in 2024 that pulled over 12 million views. However, as his name started ringing bells, someone from his past was feeling salty about getting left in the dust. Trap City Taro, the same person who sat right next to Vert in his very first interview, went on DJU to let the world know that he thought Vert was fake and had switched up. Taro explained that Vert had been playing both sides for way too long, lying to Trap City like he was really tight with Bloodhound when Trap City was supposed to be his day ones. He said Vert was lying to his real people and pointed out that Vert barely knew the Bloodhound members, having only met them in 2021 while Taro had known Vert for 10 years. Taro said that
I see why he feel that way though. Like, you damn near came over here because maybe they had the cars or they had the jewelry or they had the followers or something. You know, your day one homie gonna feel a certain way. Like, you start hanging around other niggas and then we just kind of like fake disappear on you. And then you just run off with them and act like you never knew us. Like, that's gonna make somebody feel a certain way, you know? But at the same time, a motherfucker ain't gotta kick it with you your whole life just because y'all knew each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because we grew up together don't mean I gotta continue to be around you and I can't make no other friends or I can't switch up my crowd, you know what I'm saying, for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying?
Why they fell out because Vert wasn't genuine. Tero continued his assault on Vert's character, saying that he wasn't thorough or genuine and that he was fake for real. The accusations cut deep because they came from someone who had known Vert for over a decade and had been there during his early career. Vert didn't take long to respond, and they engaged in a back and forth where Tero claimed that when the Bloodhounds find out who Vert really is, they won't mess with him anymore. Vert fired back, talking about how Trap City members were fans and how they couldn't hang with his new crew. The situation escalated when Vert said Trap City members should stop trolling before they do that thing again, but worse, referring to the revenge the Bloodhounds got on Trap City. This was in reference to Trap City Rell being murdered as revenge for Lil Jeff. And at Rell's funeral, the Bloodhound slid again, taking the life of Rell's innocent sister.
That was crazy,
Vert appeared on No Jumper, where he opened up about losing Jeff and Scoom. When asked where he was when he heard about Jeff's death, he said he was in the crib and that the news destroyed him. He was supposed to be in the car with the victim, but he was doing other things, and that was crazy to him. Shortly after, Vert was seen with one of Lil Jeff's exes and T-Slick getting matching tattoos in memory of Lil Jeff. The loyalty he showed to his dead friend's memory was evident, but more controversy was brewing when it was revealed that Vert was directly related to the late FBG Duck. Mama Duck, the notorious mother of FBG Duck, called out Vert for not showing respect after going to Duck's funeral. She revealed that Vert was her little cousin and explained that his real name was Terrell, even though people called him Vert. She said she could take disrespect from other people, but she couldn't accept it from her own family member. Mama Duck called him out for getting involved in beef and dissing his own cousin just for clout. Vert responded by denying the claims, saying he didn't attend Duck's funeral and that he didn't care about Duck, 63rd, or any of that. This response only added more fuel to the fire and showed how disconnected he'd become from his own family members.
But why you dissing them though? You know what I'm saying though? Like, I don't get that. Why you dissing them? Because if you notice, like, nobody was really dissing. But see, that's what I was gonna say. Like, nobody really dissing King Von when he passed away other than his ops. But you ain't really see nobody else dissing King Von. You know why? Because that ain't the cool people to diss. You know what I'm saying? Because OTF, O-Block, and them, they was like the cool crowd to follow. So, you know, they ops was the people who it was cool to diss. It was never cool to diss them because they was on the kind of like the winning side. They had the most money. They had the most views or whatever the case is. So it's like you dissing your cousin and your cousin ain't never did nothing to you. You ain't never had no problem with that. You not even from over there. You in a whole nother war. Why you dissing them? Like, it's kind of like you dissing motherfucker just to, like, be cool. Like,
additional controversies emerged when Vert's hairstylist let the world know she refused to do house calls after visiting him. In her words, she said she wasn't going to do any of that weird cluck vibe stuff. Vert responded by calling her broke and saying she just wanted clout, showing his dismissive attitude toward criticism. Spiraling out of control. By 2024, Vert attempted to shift his focus back in a positive direction, pushing his career forward. He got involved in a vlog with Brandon Buckingham where they were shot at leaving a studio. The shooting happened right outside the studio, with one bullet piercing the door and shell casings found on the same sidewalk where 4 men were shot.
It happened right outside of studios. As a matter of fact, I want you to come take a look at this. One of the bullets pierced this door, and that's not the only one. We found a shell casing on the sidewalk, the same sidewalk where 4 men were shot.
More notably, Vert was brought out to a Trippie Redd show, seen backstage at Juice WRLD Day, and put out a video with NetPen titled What It Was, which reached almost 1 million views. However, to wrap up 2024, Vert dropped a diss track titled Sweet, where he dissed the ops from Trap City, then posted the crime scene where his enemies were gunned down with the caption, "And they want to diss me." Coming into 2025, Vert has dropped 4 tracks, including Used to Be Dusty.
But see, that's what I don't get.
Crime scene where the diss track
Listen
titled
to what he said. He dropped a diss track titled Sweet.
Where he dissed the ops from Trap City. Then posted the crime scene where his enemies were gunned down with the caption.
And then posted a crime scene where your enemies were gunned down. And then said,
caption, "And they want to diss me."
And they want to diss me, like the same thing didn't happen to your homies. You see how it's like a delusional game that they be playing for? It don't make sense.
Coming into 2025, Vert has dropped 4 tracks,
and you dissing them,
Used to Be Dusty, featuring Baby Chief and Chasing, which has hit over 1 million views. However, he's been faced with tremendous controversy, starting with videos of him snorting Percocet with females and posting a video of a woman dancing on his head while he's clearly under the influence. Rico Recklez, a longtime friend of the Bloodhounds, clapped back at Vert after he was trolling in the comments. Rico told him that he let his homie die on a drill and to stop playing with him. Vert responded by saying he would fly out to Texas to slap Rico's son, escalating the beef to involve family members. The most alarming development has been Vert's increasingly public drug use. He posted that he was in a dark place and felt alone, and not long after, viewers saw him on Instagram live dancing while high on Percocet, then nodding off midstream. This should be extremely concerning to anyone who knows Vert, especially after seeing his drug use get progressively worse following the deaths of Jeff and Scoom. His substance abuse has reached dangerous levels, with multiple videos showing him completely intoxicated and making poor decisions while under the influence. The combination of grief, street pressure, and addiction has created a perfect storm that threatens to destroy everything he's worked for.
Man,
The streets never forget,
man,
and Vert's former Trap City homies continue to hunt him, while his new Bloodhound family deals with their own internal issues and ongoing wars. His drug addiction has made him unpredictable and vulnerable, creating a dangerous situation where he could easily become the next casualty in Chicago's endless cycle.
You too high. You too damn high. You can't be high and that ain't how it work, bro. You in the middle of a war and you just high all the goddamn time. Not off no loud either. You off some motherfucker. He talking some he mixing the Xannies with the Setties. Like, what the fuck you got going on, bro? Hey man, that junkie shit is not cool.